Hey guys, my name is Ken.Tamplin and I'm here with Nick Feinbark. He's the mix master here over at Costa Mesa Music Studios in Costa Mesa, California. And we had some goodies sent to us by TC Electronics, tc-helicon. And we're going to just pull these bad boys straight out of the box and see what they're made of. The first one here is the Voice Live Touch. And we're going to just literally open it up and without further ado, just see what kind of presets it's got. See if it's everything it's made out to be, and put it to the test. So if you're ready to join us, let's just get started, pull it straight out of the box, and see what it's made of. You ready? Let's go. Alright, Voice Live Touch, here we go. Anything with a word touch in it is probably pretty good. So we've got the manual here. Now Nick is the monster manual reader, so I'm going to leave that to him here. They got for you this cool voice support CD. I'm going to avoid looking at this because I'm sure it's like one of those things where I give you software updates and all that stuff, and that's something for you on your own time to do. I just want to see if the thing rocks. So I'm assuming this is the nice cable that you interface with your computer for updates and those kind of goodies. We're just going to put that in there, put that in there, open this thing up here. Bless you.
Thanks.
There's an AC adapter. Here, have an AC adapter.
Oh, sweet. I'm going to go plug it in.
Alright, so anyway, alright, here we go. Oh, it's cool. It fits on its little stand.
I'll put it in.
And I'm going to take a look and see. First of all, I like the sturdiness of it already. I'm just going to say that straight out. A lot of times you get some gear and it just seems kind of cheesy. This thing is not. This thing is actually really well made. And I have to say, before we get started too far along on this, I think it's important to note my interest in this is maybe a different interest than a lot of people for lots of reasons. Not the least of which is, first, here's what it looks like. It's really cool. It's well made. I've never used it before. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. But I've got to say this, that for years, and I've traveled the world a zillion times. If you want, Google my name. I'm sure you'll get a little story about who I am on the site somewhere or whatever. But for years, I started out as a guitar player, kind of turned singer, and so now I'm a lead singer and have been for many, many years. But I've always wondered, you know, the guitar player has his foot pedals and his amp and all of his different guitars, and, you know, he's really set up. He's dialed his sound in, and he really knows what he wants out of his sound, or most guitar players do, and that's how they develop their sound. They develop their style. They develop things that give them personality and signature and just a personalness to it. You know, bass players are the same thing. They get their specific bass they like, and, you know, their specific amp they like, and they dial in their sound. Drummers, you know, they spend the world searching for the right cymbal or the right snare drum, and, you know, the drummer sound. How odd it is to me that a singer, which is sort of the centerpiece, if you will, of the whole band, really is flying by the seat of his pants and has to rely on whatever sound engineer that's thrown at him, or if he's even lucky enough to bring one on the road with him, that gets his cues night after night, especially if you do anything kind of cool on a record and you want to try to reduplicate that live. So what my specific interest on this is that, you know, every other band member has their sound, if you will, and they know what they want, and they've got their toys and the way they have them all set up, whatever. Except for the singer. The singer is always subject to the sound man. So with Voice Live Touch, you know, I'm assuming that you're going to be able to get the sounds that you want, that create your own signature sound, and the things you've done on the record that you can reduplicate live, and have your own sound, man, and be in control of your sound like all the rest of your band is. Okay, so with that said, we're going to get started, and Nick, let's see here, we got some AC. Okay, so we've got it set up here, and we haven't plugged it in or tried it or anything, but I want to point out too, I'm going to be using the MP75, which is the mic that they sent with it. I'm pretty particular about my microphones. In fact, I own a recording studio myself and have a lot of very expensive gear, so I'm no stranger to gear. By the way, I've got 30 albums out and lots of awards for engineering and mixing and this and that, whatever, in addition to being a singer, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so I'm kind of curious to hear how this would stack up to, you know, just like an industry standard, like a SM57 or something, 58, excuse me, or whatever, just a great live microphone. And so it's kind of be interesting to actually use their own microphone on this and see how the whole thing works together. There'll be no tricks or anything. It's just going to be exactly what you hear straight through unit. I'm going to do some vocal screaming into this thing and see actually too what the load this thing can take, because I've got a pretty loud voice and I can distort just about anything. So, well, in fact, I distort most anything. So it'll be interesting to see how this stacks up as well. So we're going to get started, and we're going to choose a random preset. We'll probably just start one of the first presets, and let's rock. All right, you know, something I've already noticed that's actually really, really cool is here's the unit, right? And if you look at these buttons, the buttons are just cool. I mean, just, you know, they're so easy to touch and so easy to manipulate, right? And I've got some shading here, thank you. And you know, they just work really good, man. It's just a very, very well made product. I'm just gonna start out by randomly hitting the harmony button and just singing something. And Nick, if you want to hold this for me, I'm gonna have Nick hold this while I do this. It'll be one contiguous thing here, so that you know I'm not messing with a bunch of stuff. This is just straight out of the box, preset, and I'm gonna try something, you know. Hey, truth comes out a little bit at a time, and it spreads just like a fire. I don't know the rest of the lyric, I know it's there, but anyway, so that's kind of cool. It's actually tracked what sounds like major and minor thirds, and it's kind of figuring out along the way what it is it's supposed to be doing. So that's cool, and I know it's got a, let's start, gremlins. I know that it's got a thing where I can plug the guitar in, and it will actually track my guitar chords. So we'll do that later. But so I'm already digging on that part of it first. So let's continue on. We'll try the next one. Okay, something else that's cool about this is it's got a double feature. I'm not sure how it sounds, but if you notice, most of the modern rock guys that are out there today, you know, Brent Smith or you know, Mem Shadows, whomever it is that you like, they all quadruple or 6-track their lead vocals, so there's like 6 voices going on, just a ton of choral stuff going on. And I've always kind of wondered, you know, how someone like that could reduplicate that live without running tape or cheating, running the backing tracks of the record. Well, here, if you want to come over here, Nick, let's take a look at this. So they've got a double feature, and I'm kind of curious to see how that looks. Here's the double feature, and the double feature sounds really good, man. I mean, it sounds good. And then this slider, what I'm loving about this too, is if you double click on this and you want to get to the mix or the amount of what your decibel is, it's so cool and so easy to use where, you know, I'm down at -10, you can't really hear the effect. And then if I want to add, you know, a lot of effect, there it is. And then if I don't want it once I'm done, it puts me back to the preset. So it's pretty, so, yeah, yeah, and the night with the rainbows. You know, you can have like that huge, big, fat double track sound that you recorded with. You can actually do that live. So, yet that's another preset that I think is pretty cool. Okay, now let's continue. All right, so here we are, and I'm going to just keep going through some of these cool presets. What is UMod? Let's see what UMod does. It's your destiny lies with me, Skywalker. You know this to be true. I am your father. Sorry. But anyway, so it's got that really cool, you know, in the evening. You have to like Led Zeppelin to appreciate it. It's a cool flange. I'm liking that. That's nice. Let's check out the delay here. So I'm taking off all the effects. I'm only going to delay. Now, before I do this, I have to say something. I came from the 80s metal, 90s metal, you know, Bradshaw rack of effects stuff. And in my rack, I had the original TC delays. So the TC delay for me was an industry standard. So it's one of my reasons for wanting to do this is I've always been a big fan of TC product. The TC delay, there was not a better delay on the market for guitar. So I'm kind of curious to see how, and one of the things I don't like about most of the vocal delays, other than like the PCM 70s and the PCM 90s that the Lexicon stuff put out, is a lot of them actually mess with the sound. They're not a really pure sound, and I actually kind of like the sound of an analog delay coming back because it can separate out from the original lead vocal. You still hear the delay, but it's not getting cluttered with the lead vocal, and that's what everybody liked about the original TC guitar stuff, because you could set it and pan it and do all these different ways of setting it up. So let's take a listen to the delay. Are you in there? See how it's, let's get the mix going, see how much we got on this guy. Yeah! Yeah, so, okay, so, you know, it's interesting. There's a lot of good delays out there, but what happens when you poop with a double? Yeah! You know, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you know, it's what it is. So, and then you got your harmonies, you know. Or, in the night! Hey! 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 See how it sounds like a million guys? Hey! Rock! Rock! So, instead of your audience... Whoa, hold on. Instead of your audience doing all that, man, you could, you know, you are the audience at that point, right? All right, that's fine. Let's keep going. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to pick preset number 5, and it says it's got double harmony and reverb. What does it sound like? All right, this is kind of cool. So if you're into the growl thing, you know, if you like that kind of sound, or if you're, let me take these off here. You know, if you like that kind of thing, if you want to do a growl thing and have it sound super gnarly, man, that's preset number 5 is your man. So that's actually pretty cool too. So that way you can actually not have to sing as heavy and kill yourself because you have a lot of great harmonic distortion going on that's creating all these other vocals for you. It's got a lot of girth and a lot of beef to the low end. And it just, that sounds good, man. I'm impressed with that. That's a nice sound. So we're going to continue. We'll pick another preset. All right, let's pick another one here. I'm doing perfect thirds, so let's see if it can actually track a perfect third. So, what's a band that would do it? Like the Eagles would do something like that. So let's do something like, you know, there are stars in the southern sky, and if ever you decide you should go, there is a place as sweet as honey on the 7 bridges rolling. Okay, now it's actually doing a minor third, so you may want to go through and actually program something to a key. It doesn't know that I'm not singing in a key, so I'm assuming it's smart enough, and we're going to take the time to do all this stuff, but I'm assuming that if you pick a key and you decide, let's say I'm singing in the key of E major, it will identify, instead of throwing minor harmonies as I'm going in and out, which is what are called perfect thirds, it will actually differentiate that and give me the correct harmonic value to playing in a major key. So we'll actually check that out when we plug the guitar in and see if it can do that as well. So let's try that. We're going to plug the guitar in and actually sing some stuff with the guitar and see how it tracks with the guitar as well. All right, here we go. Okay, this for me is kind of where the rubber meets the road to see what this thing is really made of, because I've heard a lot of claims and I've seen some articles and this and that, and I'm really skeptical, to be honest, because look, I'm now a vocal instructor, and I've spent the last 25 years teaching all of my band members how to sing background vocals, and it's been a very long, arduous process, and I got to be candid. Now, most of them that have decided, you know, to take it seriously are actually fronting their own bands today, because you know, they spent the time with me, and I was able to show them how to be great lead singers. But in the process of that, missing a lot of notes live and a lot of stuff for me has been arduous, because, you know, I'll be honest, I'm a hard act to follow, and it's kind of hard to keep up with me sometimes, and I'm very demanding, and I expect a lot. So I'm very demanding of this too, and I expect a lot out of this. So I'm just gonna belt out like an old Bad Company tune, and it's just a preset. I've done nothing but plug the guitar in to the unit, and then what you do is you go through on the through of the unit into your amp. So you won't hear the guitar if you don't want to in the PA, and it will go straight to your guitar. But what it's doing is it's harmonically balancing the chords that you play to make sure that it can track them when you're singing, so that it can apply harmonies. And it's got a whole, you can do the octave above, you can do a third above, the fourth above, you know, and you can actually go through and it will allow you to choose. So I just chose a root, third, and fifth above and see if it'll track, see how well it'll track that. So I'm just going to, ready? You know, there she stood in the streets, smiling from her head to her feet. I'm gonna just go, I said it slow, don't go so fast. Don't you think that love can last? She said, love, Lord above. Now you're trying to trick me in love. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, we all know this song. All right now, baby, it's an all right now, yeah. All right now, baby, it's an alright now. Yeah! That is cool. That is really freaking cool. So it actually tracked in perfect thirds, technically, or in third relationship in a perfect third for each chord that I play. So let's do this slowly here. Here's an A. Oh, now if I would write, if I only sang all right, you notice how it's splitting a 1, 4, 5 up top? It's actually splitting the harmony because it doesn't know because I haven't played the chord. So this is ideal. Let me turn this off. This is ideal for the guitar player singer because when I'm playing the chord, listen, it tracks all the notes through the scale and stays in the respective key that I'm doing. All right now, baby, it's an all right now. Is that the coolest thing ever or what? Now you can fire all your bandmates and all you need is a drum machine and a big... I'm kidding. No, anyway, I'm stoked. I think this is really cool. Let's try another thing here. I'm going to change this up a bit and I'm going to try something in a minor key and see what happens. Okay? Here we go. Okay, so I wanted to pick something, not something that's just in a minor key, because I want to see how fast it can translate and read a minor chord and a major chord. So I just picked an old Kansas tune just to see how well it tracks minor and major chords. Check this out. Let's see what it does, right? Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high. Though my mind could see, I still was a blind man. Though my eyes could see, I still was a madman. I hear the voices when I'm dreaming, but I hear them say, is that the... Carry on! Carry on! Is that the cool? It sounds like the record, man. That's awesome. So I'm going to try one more thing in a second. So we can, just so that we can make this clear, listen closely. Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high. Do you hear how it's tracked every single chord? Minor, major, major, minor. I even tried something tricky on it to see what it would do. I played a +2 chord to see if it would know the difference between a major and a minor, because if you play a 2 chord and add 2 chord, the add 2, and I don't want to get too technical with you guys, but the add 2 chord has no major or minor chord in it. You play it as a partial, but it actually then dropped out the major or minor third, so it only played a partial, a 1 and a 4, meaning it played fourths, right? And when it did that, it left it to, could be either a major or minor chord. So it was smart enough to also pick out the fact that I didn't play a major or a minor chord, so it left the third out altogether. So, folks, I give this thing, not on a scale from 1 to 10, I give it an 11. This thing rocks. And if you're, like I said, like me, and you want to be in control of your career and your destiny and your sound, like the guitar player's in control of his sound, bass player's in control of his sound, drummers and keyboard player's in control of his sound, man, how much more the lead singer, the centerpiece, what everybody's looking at and listening for, being in control of your sound. So I give this one 2 thumbs way up. Here you go. Rock and Roll TC, you guys did a great job. Right now. Yeah!